The three government prosecutors, all captains, Captain Megan Portier, Captain Elberts, and Roberts.
So they have names. And where are these prizes of humanity right now? Are they in Iraq or back in America enjoying themselves?
The 101st Airborne, Michael was with the 101st Airborne when the incident occurred, and they were attached to the 101st Airborne. There was one of them, Captain Elberts, who was associated with the 1st Armored Division, so I think he still might be in Germany.
Well, we'll get to them a little later on. Let's deal with your son. He's been tried and convicted and sentenced?
Yes. The jury did not find him guilty of premeditated murder, but of unpremeditated murder, and the jury gave him a sentence of 25 years.
Oh, my God. Now, in the system of military justice, which we both know is to justice what military music is to actual music, even on the best-case scenario, how many years does he have to serve? The whole term?
A third before he's eligible for parole.
So, in other words, a mass murderer here in America, a rapist, a mass murderer, an Islamic bomber, would have a better chance of appeal than your son does.
Well, now we are on appeal, and I'm hoping and praying that the appellate court will do something, but so far, I don't know.
Now, you say appellate court, you mean military appellate court?
Yes, it's a military appellate court, yeah.
Is this in the Army or the Marines? This is the U.S. Army, correct?
This is all the Army, yes.
All right, here's what we're going to have to do. I'm not going to rest until your son is freed. I said the same thing about Lieutenant Colonel Chesani. Even though one trial after another exonerated him, the military kept persecuting him. You know how this works, don't you?
Do.
Even when they're found innocent, these vermin, look, I don't want to get started because I don't want to make anybody in a worse situation than they are. These are cowards. Most of these prosecutors are cowards. But how do we help you? First of all, it must cost you money, right? Don't you need a lot of money for this?
It has cost us a lot, but of course we'd do whatever we could do to defend our son. I mean, we're
of course you would, but how much money have you spent already defending an innocent hero?
Probably close to $200,000.
$200,000 from 2 government employees. $200,000, and you're doing this all on your own right now. No doubt you had to mortgage a house or something for this. Is that correct?
We've had to take some additional debt, and our friends have helped, and it's been nice. We've raised...
Well, I'm going to make a donation of $25,000 right now out of my own pocket. That's first of all. That's number one, right out of my own pocket. That's coming from Michael Savage to the Behenna family. I'm giving you $25,000 because I want to make the people who listen to the show understand how important it is that they reach in their pockets, and before they give a nickel to Haiti, they give $1 to your son's defense. Because if we don't support our heroes, then all of the tragedies on earth won't add up to a hill of beans as far as I'm concerned. Because this is a greater tragedy to me than any I've ever seen. Because your son is a hero. Your son is innocent. Your son is being railroaded by evil forces in the military who simply want to throw him under the bus, and they did so. And I want your son exonerated and freed, and then I want to go after the prosecutors and see if we can strip them of their pensions and throw them into a dark cell somewhere. But let's start with the good, and then we'll worry about the vendetta. How do the people listening to the Savage Nation today, how do they help you? How do they send money to you?
There is a legal defense fund that was established when Michael was first charged. There's information about that on his website.
Well, wait a minute. On my website, which I have a big list, it says contact Michael Behenna's parents to help. We click on it. I want to see where it goes because it'd be easier if it goes right to you. It says send to Vicky Behenna at your address. Is there no direct linkage that we could have up on our website where people can make donations directly?
Yes, it's defendmichael.com.
Well, that's what should have been. That's what should have been on my website, not an email to you. I don't know who did this, but whoever's in charge of running my website, Art, they will fix this right now. Will you please? Because Mrs. Behenna deserves better treatment than she's getting from the government. So, in other words, if they click on the michaelsavage.com, go to the bottom of the page, they can then click right to the defense fund and make a donation.
Yes.
Okay, well, we're going to make sure. I understand you've had a lot of support since I mentioned this yesterday.
It's been tremendous, yes. Thank you.
Well, we need more than just, we're on your side because talk is cheap. What we need are donations. I have my own problems, but it's nothing compared to this. This is horrible. He's sitting alone in a cell in Fort Leavenworth with actual killers and murderers and traitors, And spies, they put him in the same area?
Yeah, he is. Yeah, he is.
I can't believe this. It's just, I must be sitting there saying, how did this happen to me?
It's been incredible. The whole part of it, him being charged, I didn't even think soldiers could get charged in a combat zone when they defended themselves.
Oh, yeah, well, that started with the great heroic George Bush, commander-in-chief, and now it's continued with the other great military genius, Barack Hussein Obama. As you both know, they have superb military credentials, and that's why there's so much persecution of U.S. Marines and Army Rangers. It seems to me they're going after the elite here. They're not going after the women who get pregnant and go home with all sorts of pregnancy benefits, are they? They're going after the actual combat zone veterans who are heroes. There's an attempt to destroy the elite units of this military, as sure as I'm sitting here.
I don't
Look,
know.
I can say these things. You can't and you shouldn't, but I will, and I'm going to keep. I'll be screaming from a rooftop until this is over. We're not going to let your son rot in a jail cell. We're not going to do it. How can the listeners not only send you money, Vicki, how can they reach your son and tell him that we're on his side and not to give up?
And
how do we reach him?
That's the one thing I really want people to do, if they would write a letter to Michael. On his website, there is a link, a tab that says Letters to Michael, and his address at Fort Leavenworth and his prison number is on that website.
All right, we're going to put all of that linked up on my website. I want it on my face page, including how to write him a letter, how to send money to you, to the Defense Fund. And you're going to be invited back as often as you wish to tell us an update of your son. I just don't know. I'm not going to have a very good weekend, I'll tell you, thinking of him, but I shouldn't. I don't think anyone listening to this show should ever complain about anything for the rest of their lives after hearing a thing like this. How could now? For years I wondered how come we can't win in Iraq? Why are we dragging our heels in Afghanistan? Because the men are afraid to do their job. They're afraid of winding up in Fort Leavenworth like your son.
It's true. That's absolutely true. It is. When they make decisions to protect themselves, and yes, they're second guessed, and these kinds of things happen. I'm learning more and more about that.
Now, when was he actually found guilty? Was it under Bush?
It was in February. He was charged under the Bush administration and then went to trial February of this year. Well, February of 2009, I'm sorry. Yeah.
All under George Bush, commander-in-chief.
Yes.
All under George Bush. So people say Obama made it bad. They have no idea what Bush did to the military. And look, we've had some victories. I want to leave you with some hope here. I don't want you to feel that this is futile and I'm just venting here, Vicki. Vicki, I started the pressure with U.S. Marines, and every one of them has been exonerated. So far as I know, not one of them has been found guilty. We've sent hundreds of thousands of dollars through myself and through other organizations, and we're going to do it again, and it's going to go to you. I don't want one penny of it. As I say, I'll repeat it again so it's not lost to you or anyone else. I'm going to authorize sending $25,000 from the Savage Legal Fund directly to your son's defense. I'm going to take it out of my own legal fund and send it to you. You follow what I'm saying?
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Well, you're a mother sitting there. I don't know what I would do if it was my child. I don't know what I would do if this happened to my child.
Well, and one of the things that you're allowing me to do, when they took Michael into custody, we had a motion for a new trial after his trial because of the Brady violation where they withheld the evidence. And when they took Michael into custody, he looked at me and he said, Mom, they're going to get away with this. Nobody's going to hear what happened to me and what happened during this trial, and I promised him with every breath in my mouth that I would share his story. So you are helping me fulfill that promise to him, and for that I am most grateful. Thank you.
Well, it came to me from Phil Brennan. Phil Brennan sent me this story, and I could not believe it. I had not heard of this story until Phil sent it. But I have a large audience in radio. It's the third largest radio audience in America. It's heard all around the world. And believe me, Vicki Behenna, this is not the last you're going to hear from the Savage Nation. It's only the first. God bless you. Hang in there. I know it's empty words right now for a mother whose son is sitting unfairly accused, sitting in Fort Leavenworth with actual traitors and murderers, while Major Hassan is being given major medical treatment in a hospital like he's a hero. Major Hassan, the Muslim American, being sheltered by the military. Major Hassan, who killed 13 people in cold blood and wounded over 30, being protected by the U.S. military, while your son is rotting in a dark cell. I'm going to